My name is Tom Yehnen. I'm a professor of computer science at the University of Colorado in Boulder. I'm also a founder of AI by Hand. It's a global education initiative to make AI inside the black box accessible and approachable. Writing out all the math with hand. In doing so, understanding that AI is not a big mystery. It's something we all can understand. What is the purpose of learning? Having the answer doesn't mean you know it. People can buy degree, buy certificate. Do you have ownership of this particular idea? Core and foundational that doesn't change, is evergreen. AI cannot change people, but you can change AI.
A transformer is meant to process individual words in your sentence. And I can start with, say, where is the token number 4 in my sentence? And then this is a box I draw to show that, each token actually has multiple numbers. In this case, simple case, I say 3 numbers.
Unfortunately, while I was a student, I missed deep learning entirely. I was a bit too old. So I studied support vector machines, traditional machine learning method. So then I became a professor. And all of a sudden, all these people are doing deep learning. I have to learn deep learning all over again. So what I'm doing today with AI by Hand is to share my learning journey, how I, as an old professor, trying to learn deep learning from scratch. All the things I'm sharing is being about to show my own struggle with understanding AI model, math, and algorithms. Only way I can get it is I get to draw or write on the paper. This is what, I actually get it. So when I share my drawing, share my way to map out the math, and a lot of people resonated, and people started to comment out, hey, I really like your approach to breaking down by hand. I started, hey, maybe I just call it AI by hand. There's a reason that people resonate with this, connect with this thing that I'm doing by hand. Why do we like to calculate this by hand when AI can do this very well? When I was teaching introduction to programming, and I have a feedback like I'm going too fast, I'm going through the slides and so on, and just too fast, because I really like to share a lot of my teaching and knowledge with my students. So I decided to teach the entire semester of C++ programming on the blackboard instead of doing light coding. So I decided to do that. So I have a whole semester of writing my notes about, I wrote it down on a piece of paper. As the semester progressing, I see a few benefits. One is that I can only go at the humanly possible speed of my writing. I cannot go any faster than I can write. Second, students can only learn at a humanly possible speed. They can only follow how much I write. And number 3 is that if I get my student to use their hand to copy my notes on a notebook, their hands are not on their keyboard checking their Instagram messages. So help with focus as well. The by hand is really about a way to connect back to our humans. So using your hand, you can go at a human speed. You can communicate in the human way. And over time I learned this, I started to see this value. So going back to the old school by hand. What is the purpose of learning? Is it about that physical or digital artifact that proves they have learning, or something you feel like you actually internalize, you actually own this kind of stuff? Do you have ownership of this particular idea? Well, AI give me an answer right away. Having the answer doesn't mean you know it. People can buy degree, buy certificate. Whether you or not you own something, you value something, is actually proportional to how much time you spend acquiring that piece of knowledge. You have to first define what learning actually means to you. I remember when I was an undergrad, we were learning linear algebra as part of a requirement for getting a CS degree. We have learned linear algebra, and then we have learned maximum multiplication. I have no idea why it is even important. But then it turns out over time, computer graphics became really popular because of Jurassic Park. They put this CGI up the front. And people talk about, hey, everybody needs to learn CGI. And CGI uses a lot of mentioned application. And then after a few years, there was big data movement. Then it turns out you also need mentioned application to do some sort of processing. And then you move into machine learning. Again, forget about data science. We should be machine learning specialist, engineer. Again, maximum application. And today's AP is AI. Everybody needs to be AI native. We should raise our kids, send them to AI school, maximum application. in a few years, all we talk about is quantum computing is possible, right? And guess what? Massive application again. So you see this a trend that every time there's something that tool keep changing, but there's always something that's core and foundational that doesn't change, it's evergreen. You could revisit a year from now, 2 years from now, it's still relevant. People still care a lot about. Whereas the DeepSeek, it was popular at the time, but it's been a while now, so DeepSeek not as popular as before. There's a new thing, for instance, like this Golden Cloud, super popular. But let's see, in two months, is it still popular? We don't know. But I'm pretty confident Transformer topic is still gonna be popular. A couple summers ago, I had the opportunity to visit South Korea, and I got to visit where everybody else will go. It's called Gyeongbukgung. There's this palace that's thousands of years of history, very beautiful palace. And then what just struck me when I learned about a bit more history, the entire thing was burned down in like 1500, except for the foundation that was made in solid rock. So in 1800s, they rebuilt the entire palace based off the same foundation. I'd like to talk about this story because that reminds me of how this technology has been changing over and over again. But if you had a foundation on the maximum application, you could just apply it to AI. It doesn't really matter. Rebuild your skill based on your solid foundation. So that's why I'm focusing on foundation, because I believe there's something you can rebuild. Doesn't really matter whether the new tools is obsolete. If you keep focusing on the surface features, then tools, then forget about foundation. You just have to keep rebuilding your houses. You still never have your foundation on a floor you can rebuild upon. So how can it apply to your own situation? Think about the way you grew up. Maybe your parents sent you to a soccer game, or maybe the piano, and you have some skill you have become good at. Is it piano? Is it chess? And think about the way you acquire the skill. And that is actually something that doesn't change. So as AI tool come every day, the fact that you can acquire very difficult skill, that is something that part of your identity that doesn't change. If you continue to focus on that, and you have ability to realize, hey, I can acquire this, I can learn this skill, I can become really good at it. That's when you could continue to apply that skill to a new AI tool. So I'm a good example. I was falling behind on deep learning for quite a while, but I have learned skills really trying to break down difficult topics by patiently writing everything down on paper. So that skill I'm able to eventually catch up. I caught up on deep learning from the position that's way behind from people who actually been working on deep learning for a long time. So for you, your piano skill, your soccer skill is not useless. That will be a skill to help you eventually. Once we figure out all this like crazy stuff and this one tool, you just skip this tool, I think it's absolutely fine. Who knows what is going on next? But if you skip your next piano practice, you skip your next soccer practice, and you give up on that, that's not fine, because that is going to be eventually in the long run define who you are. But not this tool, not just one tool. At this moment in my career as an educator, I've started to care more about not that they learn this math. A lot of times when I teach, they say, oh, you showed up, you listened to me, you're trying to go through it. But I bet maybe a year from now, you don't remember anything. But what you can remember is more about you are able to understand this. At the moment, you are willing to come here to understand foundation. You are willing to open up the black box. That willingness is what sets you apart from others. Others who never try, never attempted, never took out a challenge. That's what differentiates. It's not really about how much you remember the equation about transformer, about attention mechanism. It's really about there was once upon a time, I tried hard to memorize this. I sat in the library for hours to study it. I was successful. So next time when there's a learning challenge, I can learn this. So that is more important about what differentiates that people who know foundation, they implies the process behind the person invested in learning it. So that is what I value. Versus person who never really learned foundation implies the lack of effort, the lack of willingness to invest in time and effort to take on a challenging learning task. When I was teaching the intro to programming, it would really spend a lot of effort making new assignments every semester because of check places that people share solutions. And we have all these technical solutions. We're trying to check the IP addresses, see whether people are accessing this. And we even put some kind of a trap on the site. If somebody access that, we know they access this. But at the time I was like, hey, Well, I hope Czech can get out of business, maybe shut down by the government, that they'll help us educators. And my dream came true because AI became the new cheating tool and the Czech out of business. And then when I realized, hey, Czech was out of business, my dream came true, but problem's still there. What's going on? So it reminds me, again, we should keep thinking, going back to the source. There was the reason why people have to cheat at the first place. That is the main cause. It's not, and Czech and AI are just the symptoms. So Czech is gone, people still cheat. I bet when AI is gone, people can still find ways to cheat. It's this AI cheating that distracts us from the bigger fundamental problem of the society's incentive system. Why are students compelled to cheat? Why is it that the system doesn't encourage real learning that has actually have spent time? So when you hire somebody, what do I care about? Is the student have a good work ethics? What I care about is the student a good problem solver? Is this the person a team player that can actually communicate, willing to work with others? So when you hire somebody, you go back to those basics. That's what you actually care about. You want to keep those people as employees. And this AI thing is just going to be a byproduct of this. Think about it. When we hire someone because there's a problem solver, in order to solve problem, that person is automatically just gonna learn AI. You don't have to tell them. The reason why you had to force your AI native, you had to go back. Maybe you didn't hire the right person. You forgot to emphasize on person being a problem solver. Again, similarly, if you are hiring this person because this person is a team player, because the person is a team player, the person will learn how to use AI to facilitate team collaboration. So you don't even have to tell the person will automatically do that as well. Trust your instinct. Continue to hire people like that because those people would automatically adopt AI. You're not a team player, AI is not going to make you a team player. You always look out your own interest. You do not respect others. AI is not going to fix that. How can AI fix that? AI cannot change people. Only but you can change AI.